A very good evening, ladies and few gentlemen. I would say. And it was a hard kind of a choice or a decision to make. Should we only make it for women, or we should invite men also? And after a lot of reflection, I thought that this is an occasion that we must celebrate with as many women leaders as we can. So we decided to at least only involve those who are absolutely indispensable or essential. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all, and I'm honored to host this important event on International Women's Day to acknowledge and celebrate the achievements of women leaders, both in Pakistan as well as in the United States. And for me, I think this is particularly significant because when I arrived here in Washington, D.C. almost 10 years ago, that was late February, which was steered by then Ambassador Sherry Rahman. So I have a very distinct recollection and memory of that wonderful event that we organized. And in fact, that was the starting point for the embassy to start celebrating Women's Day in Washington, D.C. And ever since, every year we have. So, and in a way, this is also significant because I have come to the end of my term and tenure here in Washington. So this would probably be one of the two last public official functions that I do in Washington, D.C. So I consider myself particularly privileged. And today, every woman joining this gathering is a change maker and a role model in her own right. And this strengthens my belief in women's ability to lead and inspire the future generations of both men and women. And no country in the world has made economic and social progress without empowering its women. And empowering women in particular is a force multiplier for any society, and strengthening women's role and participation strengthens the fabric of any society. Today, the women of Pakistan are breaking barriers, crossing new boundaries, and venturing into new frontiers. They are, in fact, proud and equal partners in our national development. Women are increasingly occupying positions of authority. We have had women leaders in the political arena who have achieved remarkable success. Already in our national parliament, 25% of the members are women. And in fact, many of them elected, and that number is increasing, elected from open constituency by contesting open elections, not coming on reserve seats. And the number of women joining the civil service, military, and other services is also on the rise. They are breaking through the glass ceiling and taking leadership roles in non-traditional sectors in Pakistan. Today, we have at least 5 general officers, including a lieutenant general, woman lieutenant general, the first one in Pakistan. We have the first judge of the Supreme Court. We had several before at the High Court level, but this is the first Supreme Court judge in Pakistan. We have fighter pilots, we have commercial pilots, we have doctors, engineers, so you name a discipline, you would find women represented in Pakistan. And to basically further spur the process of women empowerment, particularly in the economic field, the State Bank of Pakistan has actually taken unprecedented steps for financial inclusion of women, which I think is absolutely critical and essential to create equal entrepreneurial opportunities and to empower women in the real sense of the word. Similarly, the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan has also issued regulations for ensuring gender diversity in corporate senior management in Pakistan. Also, securing access for women to schools, basic health and employment opportunities is a vital part of the national flagship social safety program by the name of ASHA. This is where women have been given the central and important role, and their needs are being addressed. And in sports, I must say, for me, it was really a very special moment to see Pakistan cricket team captain, the women cricket team captain, Bisma Maroof, brought her daughter to the stadium after playing a cricket match in the World Cup. Through that act, she took her baby along, who is just a couple of weeks or a month old, She actually broke the stereotype that being a mother is not an impediment in your journey. It is actually an inspiration to lead and to perform even better. And the celebration of Women's Day event, I would say, will not be complete without acknowledging the very best and brightest Pakistani American women who are excelling in all fields of life. And I must say, in many aspects, better than the Pakistani American men. I hate that. And I must say, particularly because we've been in touch with community activists, those who are increasingly taking part in their local city, state level politics. And there are so many names, it's really impressive that in the list we have, of course, we have Sadaf Jafar represented here. She is the member of the New Jersey General Assembly, New Jersey Assembly. We also got another Pakistani American elected to the Connecticut Assembly just last week. And that makes 3 actually. And there is another woman representative of Pakistani heritage, Shama Haider. She is also a member of the New Jersey Assembly. And already we have Subal Siddiqui, who is the mayor of Cambridge, Massachusetts, Farah Khan, who is the mayor of City of Irvine, and Sabina Zafar, who is council member City of San Ramon, California. So you can clearly see that our women are clearly, in fact, Naila Alam, I don't see her represented here. She is also a council member in the DMV area. So this is really a particularly delightful, place and moment for us, and your success and all the successes that our community members achieve, that only makes us proud. I can also, and the whole purpose of doing this today was to bring together these women leaders to inspire the next generation. And this is a conversation that we are having with a number of successful Pakistani Americans across the United States. For them to interact with the next generation of Pakistani Americans, who are perhaps more Americans than Pakistanis. But they need to see that in this beautiful country, sky is the limit. As long as you are ready and willing to put in the right amount of effort, if you are ready and willing to work hard, and if you get the right and good mentors, I think success is only given. And that's one of the objectives that we have here at the embassy, in providing those networking opportunities by bringing together those who are high achievers and bringing them in touch with the next generation of Pakistani Americans. I would also like to say that in our bilateral relationship with the United States, between the United States and Pakistan, and US-Pakistan Women Council. We have Shaista Mahmood also represented here, and we will have Assistant Secretary Ambassador Donald Lu also speaking to you shortly to speak about the priorities that the US government attaches to the women empowerment aspect of our relationship. We also, back in 2014, signed an MOU focusing on providing opportunities for women empowerment. And in that memorandum of understanding, there was a particular focus on creating and providing trade opportunities in sectors where women are the key part of the workforce. So that is also the Women Council has its own mentorship program, and then we look forward to working closely with them. I thank you all. I think we are primarily here to listen to the success stories and to get inspiration for our women leaders. So I thank you for joining us and look forward to those interesting discussions and stories that we are going to hear. Thank you.
I told Ambassador Khan that I think that this was an outstanding tribute to all of you who have come to the United States Capitol and to this great historic embassy, cementing the relationship between Pakistan and the United States for more than half a century. And in this month of commemoration of the strength and power of women, I'm here to attest to the historic and vital involvement and strength of not only women in Pakistan, but Pakistani American women who have been the kind of leaders that have made their mark in the United States of America. I am here to applaud you for all that you have done. As we look at the array of those who spoke, from Wall Street journalists to an entrepreneur, IT representation, as well as writers and storytellers, and of course, chief correspondents for PBS, and the New Jersey representative, and so many dear friends that are in this room, I want each of you to know, in whatever generation you find yourself, that we in America know that when women act, then the nation succeeds. We had a phrase that said, when women succeed, America succeeds. When Pakistani American women succeed, America succeeds, and Pakistan succeeds. I remember some many years ago, admiring the story of Malala, who was just a 13-year-old girl on a bus trying to go to school. What an amazing story. And we introduced at that time the Congressional Gold Medal for her, of which she has since received any number of awards. Even in her youngness, in her youth, she became a symbol of courage and strength. Had the privilege of meeting and knowing Benazir Bhutto. So of course, as she made her run for the presidency, although I could not vote, I was eager to see her ascending to that position. She did not, but she represents strength and did represent that. So I want to thank the ambassador for allowing me to take this moment in the midst of your meal. We were voting and I couldn't get away fast enough. And with a little humor, you must have talked very fast. I thought that I would be able to get here timely in the speaking moment. But without that, I just want to offer to you my history that is wrapped with yours. Sojourner Truth was an abolitionist. And in a convention in New York, and someone said, "What do you want, sir?" as she stood in the back of the room. She was not a sir, but she was a regal, strong, and dark woman. And she said, "Ain't I a woman? I've borne 13 children and seen most sold into slavery. Ain't I a woman?" And I can imagine, just to use that as a metaphor, that we've been in many places where someone has either questioned our presence there or whether or not we could do the job. And so my tribute to you tonight is that you set the example for not only the history and greatness of Pakistan, but Pakistani American women who can be asked a question, "Who are you or what do you want?" You can say to them, Pakistani American women can do the job, and we can set the tone. And as we continue in our growth and leadership, we can follow the task. I wish you great success for this exciting evening, and I join you as a fellow empowered woman to say, keep on keeping on. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for honoring these women tonight. It is my pleasure to come here and to join them in this great moment of history. Thank you all so very, very much.
August audience, I feel honored to be given this opportunity to speak on the celebration of International Women's Day in USA. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And I feel HR is the biggest resource for any nation or a country's success. And of course, this HR includes men and women are the 50% of the population. And you can't progress without it. So I would quote my leader, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who said, and I quote, that no nation can rise to the height of glory unless the women are side by side with men. But at the same time, I also agree with the American leader, Hillary Clinton, who said that the women are the biggest untapped reservoir of talent of a nation. So I feel we have to include this reservoir of talent, and it is the talent of both that are needed to progress. Starting from my religion, Islam, 1400 years ago has given equal rights to men and women. So we have a huge list of examples like Hazrat Khatija, Hazrat Fatma, Hazrat Aisha, Hazrat Rufeda, and so many. And if I talk about the present era, we have females in all the leadership roles. We have federal ministers like Shirin Mizari, Sania Nishtar, like Yasmin Rashid. And then now we have them in judicial system like Aisha Malik. And then if I talk about the military, then we have 4 female major generals in the military also. And then my presence itself as a lieutenant general in the military is a testimony that the army and military is a merit-based system. So I feel we have a huge contribution by the females in Pakistan. Talking about USA, it has a rich history of female leadership and females in almost all fields. The first aviator was an American woman, and then Susan Anthony was the one who was an American who gave the females the right to vote. And similarly, if I talk of sports, I'm reminded of Serena Williams. And then if I talk about the projects that are being done between Pakistan and America, the collaborative projects, that has notable names like Nirma Salim and Aisha Jalal and Aisha Raza, and the list is very long. Women have many talents: endurance, resilience, multitasking, communications. There are some of the talents that women have, but at the same time, men have their own talents. We need the mix of these talents, and I feel it is the diversity which actually helps us in progress and prosperity and in decision making. So we need this diversity at all levels. We need them at lower levels, and we also need this diversity mix at the upper level. And we especially at the upper levels, because I feel it is unjustifiable when men are making decisions for the female population. So we need female participation and inclusiveness at that level also to make decision making for the lower levels. Women are naturally nurturing. They are mothers, and they they are born with compassion and with empathy. And this is very much needed for the grooming and for raising the children. And then this 50% of the population is responsible for raising and for grooming of the 100% population as children. So we need more educated and more aware and better mothers to have better generation for our future success. I'm proud that today in Pakistan, more and more women are coming up. They are coming up in politics, in sports, in medicine, and in all fields, in engineering, in every field that you name or you think of. But we are still not there. We are still behind the bar. So we have to work more, and we have to utilize and capitalize this potential and this HR of ours for the progress of our country and our nation. So to reach there, we do not need to blame men. We need to engage men, and we need to engage them to support women, to empower women, and to support women so that they come up. And I feel empowerment, to me, it starts with the decision making. So we need to empower them to decide for themselves, for their education, for their health, for their jobs, and for the other things that concerns them. So I feel it is only with the help of men that we would be able to meet the requirements. So I talk about not about women as separately, but I talk about the gender participation. And I feel the answer to everything is gender participation. And we need this gender participation at equal footing so that we can progress. On this International Women's Day, my message to the young female would be, have confidence and have faith. Have confidence in your ability and excel in whatever you want to do. It is the hard work and mental power that is needed, and believe me, you have ample of it.
I'm already sad to hear you saying this may be one of your last events. We will miss you dearly. Representative Sheila Jackson-Lee, ladies and gentlemen. This evening, I'd like to tell the story of the Iron Lady of Pakistan, Jalila Haider. I was reminded of her yesterday when First Lady Jill Biden announced our 12 International Women of Courage for this year. Jalila Haider won this prestigious award in 2020 for her incredible service to impoverished women and children in Balochistan province. Jalila Haider was the first female lawyer from the Hazara community in Balochistan. She founded We Are Humans Pakistan, a non-profit organization to lift up local communities by strengthening opportunities for vulnerable women and children. She specializes today in defending women's rights, provides free counseling and legal services for poverty-affected women. Jalila also led a peaceful hunger strike to recognize the right to life for the Hazara community following a series of targeted attacks. She has taken up the cause of many other vulnerable communities, and as Balochistan's president of the Women Democratic Front and the Balochistan's branch of the Orange March, she has fought against violence against women in public places, at work, and at home. Pakistan is filled with amazing women and girls. My own 17-year-old daughter has been inspired by the heroism of Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai and the amazing work that she has done to support girls' education around the world. One of the things we are doing at the State Department is working to ensure that women throughout Pakistan are lifted up through economic empowerment. We know that when women earn money, they use that money to support their families, to support their children's education, and to support positive change in their communities. And that's why we've created the U.S.-Pakistan Women's Council, to harness the tremendous power of business, philanthropy, and the great people-to-people ties between our two amazing countries. This council is a unique public-private partnership between Texas A&M University, the State Department, and our corporate members, the U.S.-Pakistan Business Council, the American Business Council, the Hashud Group, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Engro, IBM, the Resource Group, Citigroup, Procter & Gamble, S&P Global, Hum News, Pod, and General Electric. We note that our host today, Ambassador Asad Khan, is an honorary member of the Council, and Mrs. Shaista Mahmood is a founding member. We are so tremendously grateful for all of their leadership. 3 years ago, the Council launched the Pakistan Million Women's Mentors Initiative to catalyze corporate commitments from Citibank, S&P Global, KFC, Procter & Gamble, Reckitt Benckiser, and the Resource Group to mentor more than 30,000 women and girls. Over the past year, the initiative has reached more than 9,000 women and girls, and it continues to grow. Through the Women's Business Opportunity Initiative, we are working in coordination with the Council, the Council member We Connect International, to bolster inclusive supply chains in Pakistan. We Connect is identifying women who have businesses and can provide products to some of the largest corporations locally, regionally, and around the globe. They're also training corporations on how they can foster more resilient and competitive supply chains by working with Pakistani women entrepreneurs. As we all look beyond this devastating COVID-19 pandemic, the Council's success will be all the more important for Pakistan. Creating jobs and economic activity critical to bolstering growth and development while forging invaluable ties between our two countries. I hope you will consider getting involved. And towards that end, starting in May, the State Department will be hosting quarterly open houses through the Council to share more about our work and to hear directly from the diaspora, the business community, and investors in the U.S. Please contact our Council Executive Director, Radhika Prabhu, if you'd like to learn more. We're going to go ahead and put up Radhika's information for you right now. A very happy International Women's Month. Pakistan Zindabad.